Just when you think that Animal Crossing news is going to die down, Nintendo just likes to drop something out of nowhere, and this one is pretty big. A bunch of your favorite Animal Crossing creators were invited by Nintendo to a preview event for the 3.0 update, and not only did they see the gameplay and how it all worked, they also got to ask a load of questions you may have heard about the update, and there was a ton of new information revealed which Nintendo didn't reveal in the trailer. So let's take a look at all of the interesting things which were covered within the preview and give you a little bit more insight as to what to expect within the Animal Crossing 3.0 update. The first thing which was shown off in the preview was the Nintendo Switch Edition features that come for Animal Crossing New Horizons. There wasn't a ton of new information revealed here which we didn't already know, so we can cover these really quickly. Mouse controls were confirmed to be available for custom code designs, the bulletin board, and interior decorating. From what I've seen, some people liked the mouse controls, whilst others see limited use for them, so it's all going to depend on how you play and where you think you're going to use them. Although the creators didn't actually get to use the mouse controls themselves and instead watch someone else play the update, it seemed really smooth from the trailer when it was shown off primarily for interior decorating, and the content creators that did go to the preview event also commented on how smooth the controls seemed when they were watching the gameplay. But if it's not your thing, there are going to be different spaces to enjoy the mouse controls. We then went on to hear more information about the megaphone, and for clarity, if you're not entirely sure what this item is, the way the megaphone works is that when you call out the villager's name in real life, after activating the megaphone, the villager will respond to you and show you on the screen where they are so you can find them. Those who saw the megaphone being used did notice two new things about it which we didn't previously know. The first was that the megaphone can be used to call NPCs as well as villagers. During one particular preview event session, Sally was called as a villager, but Sahara responded to it instead. So it does seem like it works in multiple ways. But by the sounds of it, you're going to have to be really clear in who you're calling out so that the Switch 2 microphone does pick this up properly. One of the questions that I have about this is, how is the Switch 2 going to be able to identify which villager you call out when you've got two villagers with a very similar sounding name? Thinking if you've got both Sally and Callie on your island, or both of the Renees. There's going to be a lot of confusion if you do have both of these types of villagers on your island, and hopefully it's going to be a lot clearer to be able to pick out the right villager that you're after. The other thing which was confirmed is that there is a limit on how far away your villagers have to be from you when you use the megaphone. If they're too far away, they won't be able to hear you, and a pop-up will appear on the screen letting you know that they don't hear you. All you have to do is keep going around the map and calling out the name of the villager you're looking for until you get a response. If you don't hear anything back after going around the whole island, the likelihood is that the villager is in the building, and as was also confirmed in the trailer, the megaphone won't show you any villagers or NPCs which are in buildings. So there's still going to be a bit of a cat and a mouse game with finding everyone who you're trying to gift in the day, but at least you are able to narrow down where your villagers are before you have to give up looking for them. From there, everyone who was in the preview event got to see the feature that I think you're going to be the most excited by, and that is the Slumber Islands. Slumber Islands are a completely separate island which is held in a dream state that you can decorate however you like. They work similarly to how your main island works when it comes to decorating, but they also have a hint of HHP within this. You can terraform Slumber Islands and place items to your heart's content, but because they're in a separate space, whatever you do here won't impact on your main island. You can have up to 3 Slumber Islands per player on your island, and there is a lot of flexibility in how you use them, with being able to select different weathers and times of day, along with the size of the island itself. One of the things that was confirmed by Nintendo during the preview event is that if you select the large size for your Slumber Island, it will be the same size as your main island. So if you're looking for a space outside of your main island to decorate in a different theme or style, the Slumber Islands are going to be a really good place to play around with things. Another question which was asked about the 3.0 update and the Slumber Islands was whether you can move any villagers you have previously had living on your island onto the Slumber Islands, and Nintendo confirmed that only your current villagers will be able to be on the Slumber Islands. So if you want specific villagers to live on your Slumber Islands, you're going to need to make sure that they are living on your main island before you start inviting villagers onto the Slumber Island. Another feature confirmed for the Slumber Islands is one that I'm really excited by, and that is being able to decorate with your friends. From the trailer and the 3.0 previews, we saw up to 12 players on the Slumber Islands playing together, placing items and terraforming the island, which is amazing to see, and I'm really looking forward to being able to decorate an island with my friends. However, there were several questions raised about how players connect together and how the Slumber Islands are going to work in practice. One of the things that was confirmed during the questions and answers for the Slumber Islands in the preview events is that you're going to need Nintendo Switch Online to access the Slumber Islands. There's sadly no way around this. You're going to need this before you can connect to the Slumber Islands. A question was asked about whether or not local play will work with the Slumber Islands, and Nintendo confirmed that you can only play the Slumber Islands with Nintendo Switch Online. So if you want to decorate on the Slumber Islands and decorate with your friends, you're going to need Nintendo Switch Online, and you'll need to purchase this before you go into the Slumber Islands. One of the things that we didn't know about the Slumber Islands from the trailer was how you invited friends into the Slumber Islands to decorate together, and it's now been confirmed that there are several different ways to join a Slumber Island. One of the creators that I was seeing talking about this noticed there were several different options when it came to joining the Slumber Islands, with you being able to start a regular session, a 12-player session, or inviting players through this new thing called a DOS code. My guess is that the DOS code is going to be the same thing as the Dodo code, but Nintendo didn't really confirm this to the creators who were at the previews. However, those at the preview event did see Nintendo show off how players are going to join a Slumber Island, and it's been confirmed through this that rather than seeing all of the players coming off the beds at once, everyone will load into the host Slumber Island one at a time. So if you can picture how the Dodo loading screen is whilst you're waiting for players to connect when you're playing with your friends on the normal islands, that same system is being implemented on the Slumber Islands. Is this the best option for players, particularly when you're playing with up to 12 people on them? I don't necessarily think so, but the way Animal Crossing is set up, I think this is probably the best outcome that we could have hoped for, and I really hope there's going to be a really strong connection that will allow people to continue to stay connected and play with their friends all the time. Outside of that, one of the big questions that I had after watching the 3.0 trailer was where did the items that you and your friends use on the Slumber Islands come from? Initially, the trailers that I saw highlighted that when it comes to decorating the Slumber Islands, you will be using your own catalogue and not whatever catalogue the host has. However, from this latest preview that creators saw, a question was asked about where the different objects come from and whether or not you're going to be able to use your catalogue or the host catalogue. And it seems now like it's just the host catalogue which is going to be used on the Slumber Islands. This makes a heck of a lot more sense, and it means that players are going to be able to use one version of the truth and use items that are going to be available for everyone to use at the same time. In addition to that, another question was asked about cataloguing items which are used to decorate the Slumber Islands that you may not have had through organic play. Nintendo responded to this by saying that you weren't able to catalogue on Slumber Islands, and instead, because you're using the host catalogue of items, they can still be placed down, but if you try and pick them up, they're just going to disappear. In a way, I am glad about this because it doesn't stop you from playing with others if they have a bigger or smaller catalogue than you. There were also a load of discussions around custom codes and whether there will be any new custom design slots so that you can bring in your own separate codes into each separate Slumber Island. Nintendo confirmed through the preview events that there will be no new custom design slots added into New Horizons, so we are still going to be limited to the 100 that we already have. However, there is a confusing response from Nintendo on which custom codes you're going to be able to use on Slumber Islands, and if you're only going to be able to use the custom codes the host has already pre-selected. There wasn't really a clear answer given on this from Nintendo, but looking at the different sources, I'm not entirely sure on which it's likely to be. If I were to guess, I would say that we're probably only going to be able to use the host custom codes in the same way as only being able to use the host catalog items. It is disappointing to see that you are still limited in how many custom codes you can bring into the Slumber Islands, and as you've probably also experienced with decorating, I constantly feel like I need more codes. And now with this limitation, there's a really stark issue which I've spotted that worries me about the 3.0 update. You are going to have 100 custom code slots, not just for your island, but also the 3 Slumber Islands, Happy Home Paradise and all of the vacation homes from that, the hotel and all of the rooms within there, plus your home and the villager homes on your main island. If that sounds overwhelming for you, I'm not surprised. And I think it's a missed opportunity by Nintendo to really let us explore designing an island with custom codes which we specifically choose for each of the Slumber Islands. I really hope that this changes in the future, because without custom codes, you really can't customize an island to make it into the cute and aesthetic designs that you really want to do on your island, and hopefully we get some extra slots that we can use exclusively for the Slumber Islands in the future. The other thing that was confirmed by Nintendo in the previews by all of the different sources that I looked at is one that I'm really disappointed by. When asked whether dream addresses would be available for the Slumber Islands, Nintendo confirmed that they wouldn't be. So unfortunately, once you're finished with a Slumber Island and you've decorated it to perfection, there's no way to share this with others for them to visit and take a look around your island outside of inviting them onto the Slumber Island, which is really disappointing to see. I really hope this changes in the future, as for a lot of players like yourself, decorating is one of the core reasons you play Animal Crossing, and being able to share your designs with others is the joy of making something special. Otherwise though, we can still invite other people onto our Slumber Islands to visit, but I hope we'll be able to place some protections on to prevent people from decorating or removing items which you do put down. This is something that I'm still worried about, but I hope that the 3.0 update is going to bring in a really good Slumber Island for us to decorate and play together with friends, so that we can make something special to continue the fun in Animal Crossing. From there, everyone got to see the hotel in a bit more detail, which is really good to see, as I had quite a few questions about this. The hotel is a new building which opens up at the end of your dock, and when you enter the hotel, you'll be able to design rooms in different themes to earn an exclusive currency which you can use to unlock exclusive furniture items, which is very similar in gameplay to the Happy Home Paradise DLC. As part of the sessions, it was shown that you get to pick which room you design from up to 8 different themes, but unlike Happy Home Paradise, it seems like these themes are not as out there in concept as Lionel needing a bathroom as a vacation home, because why wouldn't you want a bathroom as a vacation home? Instead, there were pre-selected themes which were along the lines of a Japanese room, a dreamy room, and a modern room, with each of these working basically in the same way. Once you've selected the style you want to design, you'll then be put into a room and you'll be able to select from recommended items that fit that theme, or from already existing items in your catalogue. So you aren't tied to just a handful of items. There are other options in there which you can use as well to actually design the room to be whatever you like, which is really good to see. Once you've finished designing the hotel room, you'll then be paid in this new currency called Hotel Tickets by Leilani for your work. This is a new currency that has come in, and you'll only be able to earn this through your work at the hotel. However, what a lot of creators didn't mention, which I found mentioned in a couple of other different places, is that it seems you're only going to be paid for one hotel room per day. If this is true, even if you have 8 rooms to design for a day or for a week, there won't really be much point in doing any more than 1 room per day. But we will need to wait for Nintendo to confirm whether or not this is true. It would also make sense on why there is an additional way to get hotel tickets outside of working on designing rooms. When you exit the hotel, there is a box straight outside, which is where you can place a series of crafted furniture items, and in exchange for placing them in there, you earn extra hotel tickets. But from the preview events, nothing was shown off about the box and how that actually works, so we can only speculate on the decision to limit being paid for only 1 room per day if this is true. Hotel tickets are used in the hotel to unlock exclusive items which you can only find from Grams. There were several new items that different creators saw, including new plants, and a few commented on these, in addition to one really interesting item that I'm kind of excited by, which is a new cat-like plushie that was curled up. However, Nintendo didn't provide any footage to creators of anything that they saw, so everything that we've heard is only anecdotal. Some also commented on new flooring options as well, so it seems like there's a good few items that you'll be able to get which are available in the 3.0 update that we haven't already seen. Another question was also asked about Layla and her role in the hotel, as no real interactions were shown off with her in the trailer. And it's been confirmed by Nintendo that Layla doesn't actually have a unique role in the hotel gameplay, but you can still talk to her. It seems like she's going to have a similar job to Reese, where Layla is just there to offer support and some unique dialogue opportunities. It is a little bit disappointing to see this, but hopefully we get some really cute little dialogue about her talking about her time with her dad and creating the artwork that you also see on Cap'n's boat when you go on the island tours. Nintendo was also asked about how the hotel unlocks and whether you can opt out of having it on your dock or moving it elsewhere, and it's been confirmed that the hotel unlocks through normal gameplay, but they didn't actually explain what was required to unlock it. Sadly though, they also confirmed that you can't opt out of having it on your dock, and by the sounds of it, you're going to need to meet specific requirements to get the hotel, but we don't know what they might be. I did do a video on all of the different things that you want to do to prepare for Animal Crossing 3.0, so if you want to check that out, I'll link it in the cards for you to get an idea of what the requirements may be to unlock the hotel when it does become available. Those who were at the preview events also got to see the tourists wandering around the island, and it was confirmed by Nintendo that the tourists can be found in buildings as well, so you'll actually be able to find a tourist just sitting and having coffee in the Roost, as well as shopping in Nook's Cranny, which is really lovely to see. However, one of the questions which was asked has also seemingly led to different answers depending on who you watch, which is whether or not you can invite tourists to live on your island. Some creators were told a flat out no in this regard when it comes to the hotel visitors and whether or not they can be invited to live on your island, but others, including IGN, were told that you could potentially convince tourists to move onto your island. So, who knows what the right answer here is, but I would personally be really surprised if we could invite villagers staying in the hotel onto your island, as I think this would defeat the purpose of the campsite. But let me know what you think in the comments below and whether or not you think this is something that you would want your visitors to be able to do. Outside of this, there was a small section within the preview which showed off the new collaboration items coming in, which seemed to focus mostly on the Zelda and Splatoon collaboration items and how these would be unlocked for you. It has been confirmed by Nintendo that the Zelda and Splatoon series items will unlock with any amiibo from their respective franchises, so you won't need to get specific amiibo to get the items. But in order to get the new villagers within the series, which are Tulin and Minoru from the Zelda series and Cece and Viche from the Splatoon series, you are going to need compatible amiibo to unlock them. And there are already lists online which can take you through which amiibo you need for those villagers, which I'll link in the description below so that you can double check that you've got the right ones before the 3.0 update comes in. Some of the collaboration items, though, also have interactions associated with them from their respective franchises. For example, the new Guardian item in the Zelda series sees the eye glow and the Guardian wakes up a bit, but it isn't going to start attacking you like it does in the Zelda games, so it's nice that we have some more interactions with these items, but if they're not for you, then you don't have to play with them. In terms of the retro consoles, these were confirmed as only being available in the hotel from Grams, and you will need hotel tickets to purchase these. But the consensus from the preview events is that they're pretty reasonably priced, which is helpful if you're only going to be paid for one hotel room per day. However, what was also confirmed by Nintendo for these retro consoles is that there will be an interaction with them where Nintendo Switch Online players will be able to play a retro game that is from that console's lifespan in Animal Crossing New Horizons. This isn't a new feature, it was available in the GameCube version of Animal Crossing, but it's nice to see this being brought back. Those invited to the preview unfortunately didn't get to see a couple of features in action, and neither did they get any updates associated with this. This includes Resetti and bulk crafting. In all honesty, I'm not surprised that we didn't hear any more about these, mostly as the bulk crafting update is only a tiny one, which even the trailer glossed over. So we won't know any more about this until the new update launches. Resetti though, I am surprised we don't have any new information from, as there are still quite a few questions I have about this and how the reset service works, and whether it's going to be useful for you in everyday gameplay, or if he's only going to be used every now and again. Hopefully though, we're going to get a little bit more information about Resetti and bulk crafting before the 3.0 update comes out in January 2026. All in all, there's a lot of information that's been shared about the updates, and I think there's a lot of amazing new features coming to Animal Crossing in 2026, which I'm really excited to see. The Slumber Island seemed like a good balance between a decorating space and being able to play with your friends, and the hotel has been fleshed out a little bit more so that it doesn't seem quite like it's a direct copy of the Happy Home Paradise DLC, which I am really glad to see. If you want to see more about the 3.0 update and everything which is confirmed in the trailer, you should check out this video next, where I found a load of sneaky things which Nintendo added into the trailer which were not discussed in the preview events. And I'll see you over there.